Good afternoon. We appreciate y'all taking the time today, learn more about how multi-unit franchisees can benefit from outsourced accounting. My name is Tucker Garrigan. I am the Director of Business Development at OneDataSource, and today I'm joined by David Tucker. The two Tuckers in the room, not to add any confusion, but David is the President of the Client Advisory Services at Thomas, Judy, and Tucker, based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. David's going to introduce himself and the company a little more here in a moment after I go through some housekeeping items. But I do want to say it's our partnership with Thomas, Judy, and Tucker and David and his team is a little over 5 years old now. We're extremely grateful for it. They've been a great group to work with. Their approach to customer service and how they interact with us has been a blessing. We've learned a lot from them, and we're doing good work in support of our common clients. With respect to everyone's time, we're going to keep the presentation piece to 25 minutes, and then we'll have a live Q&A at the end. So we encourage you to ask any questions you may have in the chat, any topics that you want to address now, or just things that you recognize as we go through the presentation. We want you to get as much value out of this time as possible. Please feel free to reach out to me or to David. You can email us directly. And again, we're looking forward to talking through the opportunities that present themselves when you're thinking about strengthening your multi-unit operation and how outsourced accounting can help you do that. A couple notes on what we'll be covering today. We're going to cover the impact outsourcing accounting can have for multi-unit operators. David's going to cover the core benefits. He's going to touch on TJT's approach to serving multi-unit operators. And then I'll give you all some background and context into our role in the technology stack and how it supports the accounting functions. Finally, we're going to close by answering your questions. Again, feel free to ask any questions you have in the chat below. A little bit about myself. I've been with OneDataSource since 2015. Came on board to help Bruce and the team grow both the oneVIEW application and launch the onePAY application. Our company has been supporting large multi-brand QSR franchisees since the early 2000s. I'm going to hand it off to David to handle his introduction.
For the opportunity, and just want to say appreciate everybody's time today. A little background on the firm. We started in 1990, 6 of us, and we were with Arthur Young prior to the merger of Ernst & Winnie. We started the firm in 90. And in 1996, we got approached by a local Papa John pizza franchise to do their accounting. Every CPA firm back then did a little bookkeeping, but this is early on of outsourced accounting. So we hired a bookkeeper and started doing accounting. And now we're up to 115 people. The firm has a total of 250 employees. We serve over 800 individual units with multiple concepts: Pizza Huts, Denny's, Sonic's, Arby's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Little Caesars, KFC, and other regional brands as well. We're very familiar with a lot of different concepts, and we do accounting in about 25 states, all the way out to Arizona, all the way up to New York and down to Florida, where we are right now. Our goal is not to be the biggest outsourced accounting firm. Our goal is to be the best, where we can give you the feel of an in-house staff, but also give you the technology benefits of a large outsourcing firm, a boutique kind of firm, where we actually are driven on service and giving you good information, more access, and direct dialogue and expertise from our staff. And so that's a broad base of our team. So then I want to talk about the core benefits of outsourcing. The first one is cost savings. The biggest challenge since COVID really is hiring. There is a shortage of accountants in America. We're fortunate in Raleigh that we have a lot of people moving to this area. So we've done quite a bit of hiring from people coming in from other parts of the country. So we know the expense of hiring and training is very high, especially if you're an organization where you hire people and you see a resume, you think they know what they're doing, but they get here and you realize they don't have that expertise. So it requires you to spend a lot of time training and getting them up to speed, and then you got to retain them. There's been quite a bit of turnover over the years in the accounting staff. Also, the cost of hiring people. If you use a headhunter, generally they charge about 20 to 25%. So that's very expensive hiring people internally. We take that burden off of you. We actually have the staff here, and we hire accountants that want to work with other accountants, that we offer opportunity for them to advance by the more clients we bring in, they can move up the ladder and learn and grow. It's expensive hiring and training people. And buying software. We have clients that we took over the years that were using NetSuite, QuickBooks, Dynamics, various different programs. So there's a cost of buying that software. There's a cost of maintaining it. Have an IT support person that makes sure the software is updated. We're seeing a trend now of less purchasing and now licensing. And the licensing accounting software has gone up over the years because of just the cost of the maintenance of these companies. So we're seeing a transition from purchasing software to licensing. That could be at an expense over time, and also just the training of the staff to do it. Then the overall cost of employee benefits. Salaries have gone up in accounting probably 30% over the last 4 or 5 years. I used to be able to get an entry-level person around 30,000, 40,000. Now it's close to 50 or 60. Experience counts could be almost 100,000. So that's gotten expensive. Then you got to tag on the cost of their computers, their office space, the benefits, health insurance, and payroll taxes. So it's about 1.25, 1.3 additional costs. There's a lot of money put into the accounting effort of these companies. With outsourced accounting, you eliminate some of those. So it becomes more of a price per unit, a way to maybe just have better controls over that and not worry about increasing your staff and hiring people and so forth. I think generally what I'm seeing is we can be, and most outsourced accounting firms could be 10 to 30% less expensive than an in-house staff. But it depends on the mixture of people you have and who do you have doing the work. We work with clients and say, here's what the savings would be. I'm an advocate of, if it's working well, don't change it. If you have a good staff internally, we look at whether we could be a benefit to you. Sometimes the answer is, you've got a good staff, stay with them. Let us help them out occasionally. At the end of the day, I think outsourcing eliminates a lot of these headaches for you that are not only cost savings, but also the time and effort of just making sure that they're doing their job. The next one is access to expertise. Avoid trial and error. I think that speaks to hiring people and you're hoping that they have the knowledge to be able to handle the process and the accounting, correctly. Like I said, it takes a lot of training to get people to do the things the way you want them. I've learned in every restaurant group we've taken over, they all do things differently. Everybody has a different perspective, things that are important to them. So when you hire people internally, sometimes there'll be a change. Third-party reconciliation has been a huge thing over the last several years. And we've seen a lot of it being done poorly or incorrectly. Sometimes we come in and say, this is how you need to record the discounts, the promos and all that, the recovery. So that has been a lot of effort on a lot of companies internally, as well as my team, to try to get that process buttoned up. Because we've done so many different concepts, we've gained quite a bit of expertise in certain areas. I think that point of sale, we work with a lot of different point of sale companies. And one of value of doing a lot of different concepts, we can bring what works well for other concepts and what doesn't work well. I think we can bring that kind of benchmarking. Hey, your food cost is this, it should be this. Now, if you have a franchise, you have a lot of comparative stuff, but there's a lot of expenses that may not really tie to the concept. Percentage of rent, what kind of percentage of overhead should you have from a marketing standpoint? So we bring a lot of that to the table of knowing what other concepts are. We don't share confidential information, but we know that, hey, restaurant groups similar to your size, generally this is the range you need to be in for certain expenses. So a lot of that benchmarking and policy and helping you make sure you're getting some good information, which leads into valuable insights of financial matters. If we're getting good information, you're seeing some information you've not seen before. It helps you understand where do you need to focus your time. How can we get more standardizing of our expenses, standardizing our processes, and allows us to be more business advisors too as well. And then we say, all right, based on this is what you need to do to improve your financial decision-making process. I'm a balance sheet person. I started off an auditor. So if your balance sheet's correct, your income statement's correct. If you don't focus on your balance sheet, the income statement could be wrong. So we want to make sure you have good control over your inventory. The bank recs are reconciled. We're big components of doing daily bank recs. So we go in and we import sales. We do deposit verifications at time because it's important that you address these things early on versus waiting in the month and then doing a bank rec and finding things that are missing. We can help financial decision-making by just giving you more timely, accurate analysis, trend analysis as well. So it's a lot of just providing more information, opportunity for you to see information. We will always give advice or opinions. You don't have to take them, but we want to give you that. So we're not shy of saying, have you thought about this? And if you say, yeah, we have, we're good. I would you say that, then not have that opportunity to have that dialogue with you. So I think our experience in doing multi-unit restaurant groups for the last 28 years, it's been beneficial to our clients. We also learn from our clients as well. So we're information gatherers. We want to get as much information about your business so we can really give you good advice. That's what we bring to the table is years of experience. We hire staff that want to grow and learn. We don't generally hire people that want to sit there and just do a job. They don't last long because we move pretty quickly. We want to make sure people that work for us really want to learn every day. The next category is scalability. Most of our clients we brought on over the last 5 years are concepts that are growing. We've had several that started off with 5 and 10 are now up to 30 and 40. We've had a few groups that started with one concept, now they're up to 4 concepts. We're able to scale up and scale down depending on where you are with your growth. Some of these concepts over the years we've had, they'll sell off a few stores. So if you have an internal accounting staff, you hate to hire people and a year later let them go. So we scale up and down depending on what your needs are. That kind of allows you to align your business conditions. If you're also looking at internal accounting staff, you have to find a place for them to sit or online or computers. And you got to be able to adjust if there's a sale of a unit or bringing on a bunch of units. We're really involved in the onboarding of new units. We get pretty heavy involved in helping you with business license, getting the point of sale set up, payroll and HR. We're able to jump in and give you that time of setup. We do have an onboarding team that gets engaged right off 60 days out before we take new clients on. And we work with you on, okay, what things need to be set up prior to going live in 60 or 90 days. And then avoid up and downs of hiring and firing. As I said, there are fewer accountants in accounting classes than ever before. So we're seeing less people going to accounting. But you have to really be good about finding people that want to learn and grow. The hiring and firing of people is painful. Training those people when they leave a year later. We've been able to retain accountants because we are able to offer opportunities to growth. We try to hire people that really want a career. We really focus on those people that really want to grow and become a part of their clients. The next category is refocus your team. This is something we learned over the years is sometimes there's staff working for you and they're really more into the tedious work. They're not really thinking about what they're doing. When I talk to potential clients, I say, who do you have on staff that you really think are good employees? And they say, I have a couple people. Okay, let's make sure that person can be used, repurposed somewhere else, because there's opportunities that maybe we're missing that they're spending so much time on doing the tedious work. Really, that person becomes part of our team, just like we become part of their team. We find opportunities where they can continue to take their knowledge but now maybe do things that maybe add more value. It really helps you focus on core business operations. So they're not stuck doing things, but maybe they can spend time now looking at third party. Is it being done correctly? Can they look at the banking? Can we look at opportunities to improve the banking? So given the teammates on your team that can really add more value than doing the day-to-day, which will allow you to grow your business. So we work with your teams. We'll spend a lot of time on the phone with them and give them knowledge that we have, share it with them and give them some direction so they can really focus on the things that will add value and provide opportunities to increase the bottom line. Deposit verifications is something we do. Make sure that we address these issues early on, not at the end of the month. Maybe some expense analysis where they can look at things and say, why is this expense going up from period to period? If you have key employees that have this institutional knowledge of your company, we don't want to throw them out. We want them to be part of the engagement and refocus it so they can bring more value so those people can be more engaged in your organization. The last one is improved financial reporting. For years, used Sage 100, and then in the last couple of years, we've moved to Sage Intacct, which is a cloud-based product. But we've always provided clients with dashboards or financial statement reporting and other things as well. OneDataSource has been a great partner for us to help us with reporting some of the items from the OneVIEW product, but also allow us to export data at a point of sale and give some really robust financial analysis as well. With the Sage Intacct product, it's real time. As I said, we do enter sales in daily. We enter deposits daily. We do a deposit verification daily or at least twice a week, depending on the client's needs. We also bank rec as we go throughout the month. We found that doing that each week or as we go daily, it helps identify issues quicker than waiting for the end of the month and doing bank recs where you could be 30 to 45 days behind when the incident occurs. Giving you more real-time data. With the Sage Intacct, you have access to the accounting software. And you can see the components of the financial statement real time. You can click and drill down. A lot more visibility. I call it timely visibility because visibility that's not timely doesn't do any good. So it has to be timely visibility. We don't want you to wait too late to look at things. We also use the OnePAY AP solutions. You have a lot of visibility about what you're paying, what the bills look like. We've developed this over years. I just been doing this for so long and hearing clients' needs and customizing what we do to meet the client's needs. This slide is a summary of what we do, how we approach our work for multi-unit groups. I call this kind of a menu of services. The meat of the menu is the Sage Intacct because that really is where we do. That's the big circle in the middle. general ledger accounting. We maintain the general ledger. We do accounts payable. We do EDI feeds. We use the OnePAY off to the right. It helps us with invoice processing, invoice approvals, payments, reporting. So that core of the work is the general ledger, AP, financial reporting, bank recs, deposit verifications. Now, the data comes to us through the point of sale to OneVIEW, OneVIEW to us to record that. So there's a lot of data going back between these products, but that is what we use. It allows us to be timely and getting the day done. You'll see the top left is controllership duty or controller duties. This is an extra add-on. Some clients will want this, some already have some person in place. So we don't have to do all this, but these roles need to be filled somehow. And so whether we do it or you do internally, we want to make sure that's covered. To the bottom right is your UKG and TJT HR services. We offer that service as well. We don't have to do payroll. If you have a payroll company that you like and it's working, we leave it alone. But if you're not happy with your payroll, we can give you pricing on how we would do the payroll through UKG. If you don't have an HR team, we can provide that too. This is really more of how we do it, and everybody can fill different roles based on your current staff. We don't force anything down your throat. We say, what do you need? And we come away with a strategy that fits your needs, and we customize it from client to client.
All right. Thank you, David. I'll give a little background on the role that OneDataSource plays, a little bit more context. We started doing this in 2002. It was really driven out of a need. Bruce Belvin, our founder, was directing operations for a franchisee that was growing rapidly across brands, and he needed a way to normalize his data. So he set out building it himself because he couldn't find it in the marketplace. What it's evolved into over the last 21 years is we now support over 14,000 units, and we've got 50 brands that we support, and it's over 10 billion in customer revenue. But really what I want to start with is where we fit in the QSR tech stack. As you heard David allude to a couple of times, we really are a facilitator moving the data to all of the stakeholders in a QSR organization that they need. First, our solutions help operators build comprehensive data strategy. We are warehousing all the point of sale and back of house data, including and then extending that to our clients' banks and credit card companies and their voice of the customer vendors and their security vendors and on into their supply chain. We take that data and it's really bifurcated. We look through two lenses. We're trying to add as much context and value to operations reporting as we can to make those reports more meaningful, to help operators be the best they can possibly be in terms of compliance and driving the key metrics in their stores that are drivers of profitability. The other lens we look through is how do we integrate data sources and leverage our data warehouses to either fully automate or optimize processes. And that's across the board. It could be for the operators, but a lot of times it's for the home office and the people on David's team that are executing all the business processes. You're going to gain insight and better decision-making through accurate and timely data. You're going to allow for flexible operations model. Your accounting team can be in-house or outsourced. You can operate lean and you can scale up. We're normalizing data across a disparate number of systems. And so you can have standardized processes internally, even though you're depending on multiple systems to be able to collect your data. Technology streamlines and automates workflows. Finally, it provides opportunities to improve profitability by reducing costs and earning revenue via rebates to help offset expenses. It's also important to note that all of our systems are directly integrated with Sage Intacct, and we'll touch on that a little bit more. As I mentioned, there's 50 different point of sale systems and back of house systems that we support. We integrate with all major banks and credit card processors. We normalize sales, labor, and transaction data across multiple brands. We normalize inventory data across multiple brands and even back of house systems in the same brand. We import daily deposit records for efficient exception reporting. We import credit card records for efficient exception reporting and reporting on variances. One of the most impactful things is the way we use voice of the customer data and clients' internal numbers to develop a scorecard. Being able to automate a proactive scorecard and help your operators track where they are toward relative bonus and be able to course correct within a period is a really meaningful practice. It's a practice that our best operators implement. Finally, the Sage Intacct integration. OneVIEW can load data outside of your normal GL or inventory data directly into Intacct for you. Labor dollars, drive-through transactions, average check amounts, all this stuff can go all the way into Intacct via OneVIEW. That's going to enable David's team to do even more in-depth reporting. For above store leadership, everyone demands better context and flexibility from their reporting. Point of sale and back house systems are limited to the type of flexibility they can have because they're deployed at such scale. In the absence of quality reporting tools, the burden's going to fall typically on accounting and payroll teams to deliver those answers. That's not just a burden on those teams, but then there's a communication burden between accounting and operators to create the kind of visibility and transparency and truth that's needed to operate efficiently. A well-developed business intelligence solution is really key to providing that visibility that makes efficient interaction between operations and accounting. Our daily and weekly ops reporting is customized. It's all role-based and it's delivered automatically to all stakeholders based on the schedules that leadership wants to set and what those best practices are today and what they're going to evolve into. The operators today with the technology that's available, they just don't have an excuse for ignorance. It's not accounting's responsibility to keep them informed when the tech stack can do that. Loss prevention analysis and theft mismanagement are enormous profit leaks, right? Having the kind of reporting and the kind of interaction with loss prevention leaders to help identify trends is a key component of what we're doing. All stakeholders should be empowered by insightful trend reporting and analysis that alerts organizations. Loss prevention really demands industry ops experience. We have that on our team. We've got a very tenured team that's used to building these reports across brands. They're excellent at communicating best practices and having best practices evolve as the technology evolves with us. So why deliver a scorecard for bonus allocation after a period is closed? If you show a manager their position relative to bonus on a weekly basis, you're going to see that translate in overall performance. It's going to show up in more managers hitting bonus. What's holding that up is the lift to manually build those types of reports on a weekly basis without the kind of data warehouse that we can deliver. Without the data warehouse, it typically falls to somebody on the accounting and maybe in conjunction with an ops team, and it's multiple hours of work to put all the data together to distribute. Looking at a data warehouse like OneVIEW is really the driver in making that happen. I want to touch a little bit on OnePay's value for accounting. OnePay automates the entire accounts payable process from invoice receipt and organization through data validation, all the way to approval and posting and payment. OnePay is helping accounting groups accommodate multiple clients with different charts of accounts and workflow processes. So David's team can manage the different approval workflows. OnePay offers flexibility for a complex environment without sacrificing efficiency or visibility. The data capture and custom business rules eliminate the burden of paper and manual data entry while streamlining the approval process and communication with clients. We have role-based permissions and cloud-based access that keeps everybody engaged and costs controlled. With the Sage Intacct integration, approved invoice data flows directly into Intacct. Invoices can be viewed right there in Intacct, and vendors from Intacct can be synced with OnePay. We've launched a payments portal. Its functionality extends automation and controls all the way into a digitized payments process for all payment modalities. So you can issue checks, ACH, and virtual cards with rebate programs directly from the application. Our vendor enablement team provides support services for analyzing, campaigning, and enrolling vendors in payment types. We've seen significant rebate participation from the clients that have adopted this. That's really all we had in terms of subject matter for the presentation, and we want to move on to answering any questions you have. David, I believe this one is directed at you. The questions about what are the pricing for the services, how many units and locations are a fit for your pricing schedule?
So what we do is we have a list of menu of services, and we sit down and meet with you on the phone or in person, depending on where you're at, and go through all the categories and come up with what you want us to do working with your team. Then we do kind of analysis of what we think the time's going to take times our billing rates and come up with a pricing per unit. We have 1 units all the way up to 300 something. There is no perfect number of units. We look at what we're providing for you and come up with a structure of these things that we're doing for, and then come up with pricing per unit. There is no price for, up to 100 is this and over that, because everybody does it differently. And some clients are more engaging than others. Some want to be more involved in that. So we customize our pricing. We just feel like that's the better way to go.
Thank you. Next question was, how does that compare with typical costs for outsourced accounting services?
I would say we're comparable. We may be a little more in certain areas and less in other areas, but I think that we're competitive with our pricing. I think we have more service time. We actually provide better service because you get assigned a team and that team just works on your account. We don't have an AP person that does 50 accounts. You have a team that does all the work. So we cross train. So the person that does AP may do sales. We try to look at it more of a vertical than a horizontal. So you get a team of people that know your business pretty well. And so we try to use the less knowledge group to do some day-to-day stuff at a less billing rate. So I think we're comfortable. We could be high at times when there's more services that the client requires, or if the knowledge of the owner or the group is less, we have to step into that role and do more of that. So there again, we customize it. We're comparable, competitive, but it really comes down what the client really needs to have to get their accounting done correctly and timely.
Great, thank you. Next question, what are the ways that you measure success of your relationships?
What we do is we want to become part of your team and we want to understand what you do. We want dialogue. My staff will pick up the phone and call you. You can call us. We want to understand what's important to you. What are the things that are your metrics of that you need to run your business? Success to me is we are an advisor to you and you have no problem calling us. If we make mistakes, hey, we messed up. Here's how it happened. Here's how we're going to fix it. So to me, it's more relationship driven. It's just the nature of the CPA firm. It's relationship client relationship. I would say the clients that we've done for 15, 20 years, their comment is that we point things out to them. They didn't know there was an issue because we want to learn your business. We're not into processing only and step away. So we really will get involved in your business and ask a lot of questions, make some recommendations, and give you timely information, but also dialogue with your team and learn your business as if it was ours.
Excellent. Okay. These last two kind of go together, so I'm going to put them together. So if somebody's looking at moving to an outsourced model or switching from a current provider, what's the typical ramp up time for someone to get onboarded and start with you? And are there startup costs associated that they should plan for?
Yeah, we ideally like 60 to 90 days. It depends on the number of concepts, number of units, what we'll be doing. If we're not taking the payroll on, then 60 days is probably realistic. If we're taking the payroll on and we'll do the HR services, then it's 90 days. What we do during that 90 days is learn, get ready to set Sage Intacct up, get all the vendors ready to go. There generally is an onboarding cost. The more information we can get out of your current system or you provide data to us, the more efficient we get it. So there's generally an onboarding fee. It can vary depending on how much past information you want us to put in our system. So we say, all right, what do you want? And then say, this is what the cost will be doing that. Sometimes I'll waive some of that if it's not too big of a number, just because I want to build a relationship. We like clients we've done for long term. Like I said, I'm not into 1-year contracts, but we want a client that's going to be with us long term because it allows my staff to really learn your business. And 60 to 90 days is the term, depending on whether we do payroll or not. And there is some onboarding costs, but I'm looking for long-term relationships. I don't try to make a lot of money onboarding. We just want to cover our costs so we're ready to go live and that data starts getting done correctly and timely from day one.
Excellent. Thank you for that. We've come to the end of our questions here. We would appreciate everybody's participation today, listening in. Again, our contact info is on the screen now. You can reach out to us directly with any questions specific to your business. We'd be happy to talk through it and help you determine if there's a good fit and we can provide value to you.
Thank you for your time, people.